Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Savvy. It is myself, George, rejoined by Dave, rejoined by Phil, for a very, very special discussion, not just on Star Wars, not just on Obi-Wan Kenobi, but this is a mini reunion, Wands of the Force, a long time coming, not in a galaxy far, far away, not from a long time ago, but there's a smile on my face, which is even rarer, because we're here to talk about the trailer for it's so weird to call it Obi-Wan Kenobi because I'm convinced it was originally titled Kenobi for so long. It feels weird to give him his full name, but he deserves his full name. We have Ewan McGregor coming back playing the, of course, iconic character. And tonight we had our first trailer. Maybe it should have come at the Super Bowl. Maybe we thought it would have come at the Super Bowl. I stayed up all night for it, which backfired on me. But that being said, it is here today. And as usual, what we want to do, this is going to be a discussion on it. We're going to play it with this very shortly. We'll play the video. We'll go over some of the really important stuff. We've got some stills if we want them. But this is going to be a really fun roundtable discussion, just like the good old days. And I'll go over it. If you aren't familiar with the channel we used to go on, I'll bring up that in a minute. But as always, we want to hear your thoughts. Comment all your thoughts on Kenobi, what you thought of the trailer, the music, the characters, new characters, other characters from other mediums making their live-action debuts, all that kind of stuff. And if you're a fan of Star Wars, if you're a fan of Kenobi, hit that subscribe button because there is a lot more Kenobi stuff coming on the way. There's going to be a big build-up to the series starting on May the 25th, followed by weekly spoiler discussions. It is literally, you know, when we used to say that the Star Wars film was Christmas was like the Christmas. I feel like we're getting in May is a bit of a cheat. The way it used to be and the way it should have been, but December, you know, we got greedy and we loved it. And it feels like it's December time again, even though it's not. So please do comment along with this. And if you want to find us on social medias, what videos we do when we do them, that's Twitter at cinema_savvy, Facebook.com/cinemasavvy, letterboxd.com/cinemasavvy. And yeah, so that's the intro, nice, politely out of the way. Now, obviously, I mentioned we used to do a podcast together. It feels weird to say that. There might be people that never know that, but us three, I don't want to say go back years. That sounds really odd.
I mean, we do.
Star Wars celebration. Yeah, 6 years this year's celebration, which is quite scary when you really think about it. And, you know, there's only been like two or three celebrations since. I don't know. It's all COVID's messed everything up. But, you know, we used to do a podcast together. It was amazing to do. And we've been trying to meet up, but not been able to do it, obviously, with COVID. But we knew we would eventually be talking Kenobi whenever. And here we are tonight. So, what I want to do, before I even click play, review it, I want to know from both of you, pre this trailer today, where was your hype at for this show?
I could not be more hyped for this. I think the build-up that started once we knew Ewan was coming back, that terrible announcement video that they did where they brought him out and asked him if he's going to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, that awfulness, which should have been saved for a Star Wars event, not just a Disney event, it makes it palpable that you're like, finally going to see Ewan back in the role that he was made to be Kenobi again. When we left him, it was like, oh, out of the characters that we met over the prequels, he stood out so far as being like the star of that. He was Obi-Wan Kenobi at that age. To know that he was coming back, to know that we were going to get, even it being like a limited series, that we're going to get based when it was the characters that are going to come back. I've been just excited. Today was an amazing day of things dropping and releasing and then hoping for a trailer, then getting a trailer. I could not be more hyped.
Yeah, and it's the same here. Yeah, that terrible announcement video where they really dropped the ball by Ewan McGregor, not just coming out saying, hello there. That's all the announcement you would have needed. Put on the lettering, done, mic drop, out of there. But no, since then it's been kind of build up. The little bits here and there, like Hayden Christensen coming back, that was being drip fed. And there was a little video, I think a month or so ago for the Disney like charity thing. You had Hayden Christensen and that Cinematic Made Force Be With You. It kind of gave you chills then and building up slowly. And then today, of course, when I think George, you put it in the chat with the opening for the Twitter page with hello there. And it was just... Yeah. Oh, I mean, again for the Super Bowl. I was watching the Super Bowl for my own reasons. I was watching the game itself. But I was like, okay, yeah, quite happily. Hopefully, there'll be a trailer. I'll keep you posted. There was just nothing, just silence. A case of so much hype, so much burp, and then finally here, and then yes, the trailer. Oh, and we'll get into that in a bit. But yes, just my level of hype was already up, and now it's up another notch.
And I think that's it, isn't it? I don't want to say it's over. Obviously, the show's out, but. You know, everyone's had hype. I think every Star Wars fan, maybe of any age, all has different approaches to this. Even someone like Ewan McGregor, who 10 years ago would have probably laughed at the idea of playing Kenobi again. And here we are, you know, as every year went by, I think the certain age group grew up. Some of the actors got older, realized, hold on, George Lucas was onto something here. Not to get into the whole prequel discussion, but there was a lot of discussion, and I think he absolutely loves it now. I think he enjoyed it at the time, but he was probably a bit disappointed. I think that's always been the consensus, and I think now that generation's grown up, he's got completely opposite thoughts to what he used to think. But enough talking about the prelude. What we're going to do, we're going to hit play on this. We're going to watch it together. We've all seen the trailer. I'm going to say this isn't a live first-time reaction, but I guess the first time the three of us watching it's pretty cool. It doesn't compare to obviously being on the TVs and stuff like that. I will.
We are on YouTube, so I'm going to do a lot of this.
I'll clip it. We get 10 different thumbnails. The classic. There's always a way, and maybe it's like Peacemaker. I know it's coming in the UK soon, but when the super identity, it's like every face is a thumbnail. But that means
it's quite funny. The last 2 years, though, we now have George, who is Obi-Wan for episode 1 with the complete no beard. I'm now the episode 3 Obi-Wan. My beard's quite a lot longer, but I've still got some color to it. And Dave's is the color is fading fast.
two sons on Tatooine. 2 sons on Tatooine. We'll always give him that. But let's hit play. Let's see this together.
Let's just watch this.
The fight is done.
It's the music.
We lost.
It really is. What a shot. This is Luke with what's probably Anakin's goggles.
Stay hidden. The key to hunting Jedi is patience. Jedi cannot help what they are. Their compassion leaves a trail. The Jedi Code is like an itch. He cannot help it. Where is he?
Okay. That's the second time I've seen that in full. I'm going to say that I've seen everything. I want to go to each of you. We're going to talk about the trailer. We're going to go so many things. There's an article that came out today. It's got a couple of character names, planet names as well, all that kind of stuff, which I'm going to load up and bring up when we need to too. But I don't know, Dave. Over to you. What do you think? Taking it still.
I mean, it invokes. It's a weird thing to say, but it invokes Star Wars immediately. Like, that's not something that's going to build you around saying that you're kind of in this universe. You are immediately back with this universe. The music, we all know John Williams is sort of the heartbeat of Star Wars, and to bring the themes back. Battle for Heroes slowed down very much at the beginning, and then you get the absolute mic drop of Duel of Fates, which I was not expecting to hear at all. And I thought we might get the Battle for Heroes because it's obviously Anakin and Vader's going to be in this as well. So I thought we might get that hinted at, but to get the mic drop of the Duel of Fates is just puts the hair on the back of your head. If I had any, would go right up again. But it's so much to take in. The hanging of somebody in a Tatooine street is awful. But then seeing the Inquisitors and, to be honest, for a trailer for Obi-Wan Kenobi, not a great deal of Obi-Wan, which I kind of like as well, hearing the odd few words and that look. And I now think it's going to be even easier for people who tell their nans that it's actually a picture of Jesus and put his picture on mantelpieces. So much easier to do that with this one as well. It's just, for me, for a teaser trailer, it does exactly what it needs to, and it's I mean, you just look online now and the reactions to it. It's done exactly what they want this trailer to do. It's gone massive already.
Yeah, and you're not the only one. That's especially when, the music is one of the biggest parts of Star Wars. Always has been and always will be. From John Williams through to Ludwig Göransson, and when it comes through to the Clone Wars and Rebels, it's always been a massive part of Star Wars. Battle of Heroes slow down is one thing, but as Dave was saying, just when the Jewel of the Fates kicks in, it's just heartbeat went up like a million beats. Even the best way I can describe it, as I was saying to the guys before we came on, I've been watching through. I just finished watching the Book of Boba Fett with my old man. He's watched Mando, he's watched Fett, and we just started watching Rebels. And although he's not the biggest fan of animation, he wants to give it a go. And he watched that trailer. His entire reaction was, "Why isn't it the May 25th now? I want this now. I want this now." He's not a huge Star Wars fan. He is a Star Wars fan, but compared to me, I know. Is that reaction of just, it is so much. There's so many details to take away from it. Even down from, I know when we first watching Rebels, speedy lightsabers weren't fully embraced on this channel, on that channel, shall we say, especially they had the helicopter style. But to see it in live action is really cool. And there's just so many little bits and pieces. And of course, if you played Fallen Order, you know about the Inquisitors, or even read the comics, you know about the Inquisitors' headquarters, the rest of it. There's so many cool little Easter eggs here and there, and just, full on excitement for it. And actually, agreeing with you, Dave, on that one, saying there was just enough Obi-Wan for it to be an Obi-Wan trailer without it being too much given away. And I like that. I like that a lot.
I think that's a really big thing in absolute truth, because I don't think there's one human being that isn't sold on the idea of Ewan McGregor coming back as Obi-Wan. You don't need to market the show on why Ewan McGregor needs to be in it. What you need to market the show is what story can they tell that is going to mean Obi-Wan Kenobi has to have a story inside of the 19-year gap between 3 and 4. And a lot of dispute in the past has been made about the Vader comment, of course, in episode 4, presence I've not felt since. But there's been so many tangible, other people saying, well, does Kenobi know he's alive? Does Kenobi know Vader's Anakin? Does Anakin even know Kenobi's alive? There are so many, not variables, but off that one line from episode 4, I don't think it ever sealed the events of episode 3. I think something mega could happen in this show, and that would give even more meaning to when episode 4 comes out. The first time you go to watch episode 4 after watching Kenobi, I think it's going to hit differently. Maybe even Rebels when Kenobi's in there. We're dropping full Rebels, everything spoilers, Fallen Order spoilers. Anything Star Wars that is out is completely on the table to speak about unless we've got leaks. We've got a couple of comments I'm bringing up. Carl, as always, lovely to get you back on, Carl. Williams is coming back for Obi-Wan's theme as well. Disney seemed to finally be leading us that prequel of.
As I was talking about a presence I've not felt since. That's a name I've not heard in a long time. Good to see you, Carl.
And it's John Williams as well.
Yeah.
Coming back. I mean, I know he did the theme for Galaxy's Edge, right? I know Solo. He did the theme for Solo. And I understand why he didn't need to be involved in Mando or Boba Fett. That's fine. That's like a new universe. But he's coming back for another one of his characters for Kenobi. And we've never had an Obi-Wan Kenobi theme. I know you can always make of it how you will, but I don't need an epic Han Solo. But what if the theme's just a variation of the music we get in this trailer? But it's going to have its own theme. But the fact that John Williams, who just turned 90, is still up for composing Star Wars is absolutely beautiful. We've got Sam in the comments as well. The hype is real. Sam has been messaging me for months about Kenobi. I can't remember who this was, but we've both been waiting for the Kenobi trailer. The hype is real. And it's just really amazing to talk about. And what kind of comes next, because we've not written a one-by-one schedule. What I do have, I have some stills, but I also have the article on Entertainment Weekly today. Now, if anyone wants, there's somewhere on Twitter, they've got the 99 episode 1, 1999 Entertainment Weekly cover of young Obi-Wan next to 2022 side by side. And I believe this is the last ever physical copy of Entertainment Weekly before it moves to being online. An online magazine, which is quite sad because I think we how many times did we cover Entertainment Weekly covers and content? The Star Wars Entertainment Weekly article, and they were always so great. The Vanity Fair as well, but the fact that Kenobi's coming back. Let's actually talk. Should we go through some stills? Now I've got a lot of stills on the screen I need to bring up. Now I've never shared photos in this way before, so I believe. It should let me pop them up on a window. As you can tell, this came very last minute to us today. And Please say that's come up on the stream. It has. Okay, I've got a folder of some stills. I'm not going to do this frame by frame. Every millisecond, someone's going to get a comment, but I feel like so I'm going to kind of go through them politely. Anyone's got anything to say, jump in. There is nothing wrong if you want an extended sequence on Obi-Wan pulling this thing that he once famously rode in the Phantom Menace. You know? We remember that. It's Tatooine, only at the doorstep, but he was still there. But what we'll do, we'll go through some of these, bring up people's comments. We've got Lulu as well, saying very excited for this. I think it is a fair word. I think the hype for this series is unbelievable. And we didn't even touch on it. The fact it isn't even coming out on May the 4th, I was outraged for like 1 minute when they announced that. And then May is actually the 40th anniversary of New Hope. And then it's like, I was wrong. They've done it right. And I'll make you all a bet right now. May the 4th will be the second and only other trailer we get for this series. They will drop that trailer 3 weeks before the show comes out. Not that we need it, but they will do it. And that is the day to do it. So while I start going through these, if anybody wants to talk about them, then Phil, you were always the maestro. Can you remember the name of this creature? I can't.
Oh, no, I can't remember. I know scenes, but I can't remember the name off the top of my head. It's been a while.
It's fine. Don't worry. We're not busy.
That's Long Nose Horse 2.
It's just. I mean, it's just ironically Boba Fett, right? A show that was maybe set on Tatooine too much, and looks like Kenobi, the show that everyone thought would be set on Tatooine, is going to go elsewhere. I don't have a problem with that as long as the story works. But yeah, let's move on. Again, Obi-Wan Amazon shopping. We're not too fussed about this. But this one here, I'm going to talk about the Mando tech because without that, none of this is possible. This looks like film. This looks like a expensive film, by the way. Not when I show my dad Mandalorian. Okay, granted, we've got a nice setup and stuff. We put a lot of money into our home cinema systems, and that's something I'm really I care about for the house. That everything is like. We will watch this in the right way. There is no. I think I had to watch episode 6 of Boba Fett on a laptop on a train. And the film Song of Silence was like, 1080p on Star Wars, disgusting. That's how first world it's become with Star Wars now. But this technology, I just wanted to bring that out there. Seeing this tech again in a trailer, it just looks so good. And I'm really amazed at what we might see because obviously this all shot last year in America. I believe this started filming after Cassian, wrapped before Cassian. Yep. Now, obviously, it is half the length. Not confirmed, but I believe everyone thinks Cassian's going to be 12 episodes, which is quite exciting potentially. Yeah, and it's getting a season 2, so maybe there's a long-term strategy there that could be massive in its own right. Yeah. I don't know if anyone wants to speak about the cave, but what is important is the follow-up shot. Young Luke Skywalker
with what looks like Anakin's goggles.
It could be. How do we? And again, this is a question a lot of people would have asked us. How do we feel about seeing Luke? Does it make sense? Does it feel weird?
Yeah, it makes. Well, no, it doesn't feel weird at all. The whole point was that he's there to protect him and there to look over him. So it makes sense to see him. At least in my mind.
I think, it's something that I don't think we were going to go past the episode without seeing. Now, the one thing I think in all of these trailers, I think Disney have done this a lot. When we get a trailer from them, it's normally based around pretty much the first episode and not much further than that. So I expect what we're seeing now is we will catch up with Obi-Wan where he was. I do think we'll see pretty much all the shots that we've already seen in probably the first episode, very beginning of the second, maybe. Because this is such a short and tight series, I expect most of this to be seen by episode 1. We'll have passed all of this. Him checking in on Luke. I expect
this to be the only scene with Luke. I don't expect there to be any more than this. I think this is, and that's what you need. It's just a little, okay, he's still good. But I reckon my feeling that from this trailer is he's there looking after Luke, and then the Inquisitors arrive. He goes, hang on a second, I need to drag them away from here, get the scent off of Luke away to wherever it is. He wants to put it on him rather than on Luke, and then you'll have for Rebels him going back, of course, and completing it full circle. But that's at least my thoughts. I think this will be the only time you see Luke. It's all you need to see Luke as well. It's just a case of, cool, Homestead's good. He knows he'll see Uncle Owen, but that's kind of about it.
Yeah, I'm the same as you both. Again, I think when we got that shot of Rebels of the mini Luke running across the land, it looked funny because they're not going to show us Luke. They shouldn't. And then here we are now. It's similar. He's watching on from the distance. This was his role to overturn it. I think you're right. For Obi-Wan to leave Tatooine, something has to have happened that is integral for him to make that call to stop protecting him, to go not overseas, but obviously to get out the system. And that's going to be mega. And I think the same, Dave, I'm glad you brought up the trailer point. They would show hardly anything from these shows. I reckon we've maybe got the first 2 episodes here. 1 episode set on Tatooine, him departing at the end. 1 episode, I'm not going to call it Hong Kong, but they've basically said it's inspired by, I think, not Hong Kong cinema, but I've got an article to read at the side whilst we're going through these. But
it has a bit of a Madripoor vibe as well.
It's one of those. It's a new. They have confirmed it's a new planet. I just don't know the name of it yet. It is written down, but again, we're on a TV show. Yes, it's Kenobi. Yes, it's old characters, new characters, whatever. But we're still going to new planets. We're still getting new Inquisitors. Yes, we're going to have people we're familiar with. But I don't think it's a problem that we get given some stuff that is new. I think, I would take a show of Obi-Wan just sat in a desert for 6 episodes depressed. I would also take that. Literally just him sat in his room for 6 hours. I would watch that happily. But we're going to get story with it. Maybe that's a lot about me. But obviously, and then we have the shot, the return of the hero. Again, how do we, not to judge appearances and go too extreme, but how do we feel about the design? The mullet is back.
This to me feels like it's going to be quite early on. He's still got quite a kempt and short beard at this point. And the end still, we'll see that right at the end of the trailer, he looks very different to where he does here. So that's why I'm thinking, again, we're going to get caught up very quickly with what Obi-Wan's doing. I think this will be his arrival, watching over Luke. I think we'll get just little bits and pieces because, you see, it looks much more of a Jesus-y beard by the time he gets to the end of the trailer. So a bit like Phil's glorious beard.
Indeed.
Not that long. Yes. I mean, it's just, you just see him and he's not exactly aging badly. He's not nowhere near Alec Guinness's look when he gets to A New Hope. This man is aging as handsomely as ever. But it's just so nice to see him back and knowing that that's Obi-Wan Kenobi that we're seeing.
And I think as well, when it is Obi-Wan, and we're very lucky that, again, this isn't intentional. This isn't this big conspiracy that, Lucasfilm planned to do an Obi-Wan show in 2022. No, it was George Lucas made a very conscious decision that his episode 1 would be about a young boy, Anakin Skywalker, a boy being taken away from his parents at that age. And episodes 2 and 3 onwards would be him older. Now, the beauty of that is that they cast a very young Ewan McGregor, who had to be aged up significantly in episode 3. I want to say that maybe he was in his early to mid-30s playing somebody that's meant to be in their mid-40s in that. And here we are, 17 years after that, and he's meant to be playing the same character 10 years on from that. And the whole age dynamic has worked. It helps that Ewan looks
he's
absolutely
finally
amazing.
the right age to play him.
Exactly. And I think, didn't Ewan say something a couple of years ago that he's only going to get, it's similar to Ray Park, he's only going to get one more chance to play him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. This is the time to do it. I've just been text saying that the trailer for Thor's come out, but that's not a problem. We're going to carry on talking about Kenobi. Christian Bale, go on, son.
Look, we'll go from Force lightning to other lightning later on. We'll talk about other lightning in a different channel. But no,
Taika Waititi's meant to be doing Star Wars at some point, if that's ever going to happen.
There is I can't bring up George Lucas because I'm not.
I was going to bring up all of them. So, Carl, I love to get a flashback of Anakin's point of view. We'll bring this one back up, Carl, when we get to the Inquisitors roundtable. But this one, for continuity, I'm expecting him to not use the name Obi-Wan as he'll go with the name for one.
He'll be Ben.
This is what I feel. I think if he's not Ben now, he will rename himself by the end of the series.
Yeah,
probably already is.
Yeah. So it's the one below this. I want to quickly get on to the one from Lulu, which is so I'm hoping to see Force Qui-Gon Jinn teaching. You won't see Force Qui-Gon. You will potentially you will potentially get Liam Neeson doing the voice. But if you remember from the end of Clone Wars from Series 6, well, he couldn't quite get there. He was able to return from the Force, but he wasn't able to become a full Force ghost. There was more work to be done. So I don't think you'll see him. And also, it wouldn't make much sense going on for like Rise of Skywalker, for example, where you do have the voices. There's a lot of Jedi there, but not all of them have had that training. They're not all of them managed to find that point.
Should have been.
I would pay good money. There's a shot of him sat in the cave earlier in the trailer, that's where I think if we do anything,
you'll see
I think that's what we'll either hear.
You'll see the little dancing yellow lights is what you'll see. You won't see full force Ghost. At least that's my thought on it anyway.
But take it, because if we did see it, you'd lose your head. Like,
oh,
it will be
right.
to get, because the thing with Liam Neeson, and this is what in episode 3 when Yoda says, "Yeah, I've been training with your tutor," and it's the way he says Qui-Gon. And I remember as a kid, like, "Yo, we're gonna see Liam Neeson again," and we never did. And I know that the real life story is that he had a really bad motorbike accident, which is why he couldn't film it because of that. Which is like, we were on the verge of greatness, we were so close, and this is the chance. If Liam Neeson's coming back, I think he could. He does a lot of these action films he doesn't need to do. But and I'll say this: like, yes, he's a bit old now. His voice is as incredible as it was back then, and I think he was significantly aged up for Qui-Gon back in the day. He always was younger than what he looked. But I also think not to sit here saying we need. I know there's a lot of moral conversations people have about the D8, the whole Luke tech, not Mando tech, Luke tech, and Tarkin tech. One an actor being alive and fine with it, another an estate. If Liam Neeson is going to don a mocap suit for a scene, fine. If he wants somebody else to do it and he can mocap over, that's also fine. I'd be very shocked if we didn't get at least a voice or a face cameo from Liam Neeson.
I think voice, but if they do face, I will be more than happy with that.
Definitely. And
especially after seeing especially after seeing Luke in the last time we saw him in Boba Fett, if they can get the technology to there, then we could go anywhere with that as well.
Oh, too right.
I mean, I don't like the whole we didn't use his voice, we use AI. That's a bit freaky. I'm going to say that. I did like it, but again, the actor's blessing is there, so I don't have a problem with that at all. Yeah. We've got another comment from Sam. This is the time to bring back and have flashbacks to some of the key components of Obi-Wan's life: Qui-Gon, Padme, Anakin, Ahsoka. Hints or glimpses of amazing. I'm still on my wild prediction. We are going to get Clone Wars flashbacks.
I think
100%.
The danger is with this is to not shotgun too many nostalgic parts into it. You have 6 episodes, 1 season, 1 and done. It has to be a balance in there between nostalgia and storytelling that you kind of have to go hand in hand. You can't, if you favor one over the other, then storytelling's great, but you need some nostalgia. You don't need to be like in your face constantly. Here's Qui-Gon, here's Ahsoka, here's Anakin, here's Clone Wars, here's like. When you've only got 6 episodes to the story, and it's literally the only one we're going to get, I want it to be done right.
But I feel Disney have always, in every show we've had so far, they've tarred that with, they've got a big brush of nostalgia through every one of those series. At least an episode here and there has had this big brush of nostalgia right the way through it. I do think we'll get very much hints and things that we've seen and things that we know are coming. I think it's going to be very, very, very integral to the story as well.
I just want to be
we'll
balanced.
Get a full nostalgia brush on it.
Yeah, I just want to be balanced between storytelling and nostalgia, to have the story moving forward, but also, like we had in the first episode of Book of Boba Fett, where you have proper flashbacks and proper story go hand in hand. So kind of go along that route.
Could we get something like Mando season 1 with the whole battle droid, where we get like one or two scenes from the Clone Wars spread out?
Yeah.
Because even if it's just the image of, not an image, but one scene, and it's a young Anakin, Ahsoka, and Kenobi in that Clone Wars armor, would honestly, like, as people that Dave's already crying. It's not the first time on the channel. But it's that whole you got to think of it this way: like, the Clone Wars was an animated show that came out years after. It wasn't well received at the time, and I'm one of the people that was like that at the time.
Oh, same.
It grew a fan base.
Same. Yep.
Yeah, and it grew from a fan base into passionate fans. There is a generation below us that say Clone Wars is their Star Wars, which really hit me at a certain point in my life. And it's like, for them to see that come into... I mean, Battlefront 2 was close enough. You had the actors' faces on, and it was like, wow, that's really cool. And now here we are. It could genuinely happen. And it would be amazing as under the right circumstances. The same as what Sam's put. It's important to tell the story that's currently in progress, and do not rely totally on the past. But you think, if this is a man haunted by the Order 66, I mean, we know that Disney loves an Order 66 clip as well. That's like in everything.
All right. So on that point, can I interject the fact that you two, for years, had to sit by with me constantly moaning that all I ever had in episode 2 and episode 3 was CG clone suits. And in the Book of Boba Fett, I finally got actual suits of clone armor, and I just lost my mind entirely.
It looked great. And that's it. And we might get more of that. We know,
yeah.
Boba shot in LA. Maybe there's some spare clone costumes around. Who knows? Maybe a certain Tamora Morrison was on set when he was taking a break from the Polynesian spa. We got a quick one by Carl. My understanding of the Force Ghost, especially with Luke, is demonstrate his strength of the Force. New Hope, just a voice. Empire, faint ghost, and Jedi, full form Force Ghost. Very interesting. It's very interesting what people can do with the idea for this. And as you said, I think for spot on, if it was Qui-Gon, this was inherently the first one. And maybe there's some lessons because Kenobi, technically in like real time, it was Kenobi the first Force Ghost, but in canon, I guess you could argue the Qui-Gon situation. That's going to be fascinating. But what we want to talk about, let's move on to some of the really not fun scenes. But Phil, you mentioned Fallen Order. I'm going to bring up just two stills. An amazing looking. I was going to say the Krennic Mobile. Obviously, it's not, but it looks like it could be, which is good enough for me.
It's the Inquisitor Mobile. Yep.
The Inquisitor Mobile. We've already got a new name. That's going to stick now. But here, this is what he said. This is when we know. Okay, Fallen Order, Inquisitor HQ. Phil, take the floor. Go. What did you seeing this? Did you think you'd see something like this? I didn't. If I'm being absolutely sure, I didn't see this.
So with the rumors coming, I mean, we had it confirmed for Second Sister anyway. Not Second Sister. Seventh Sister. So I was kind of happy. Second Sister. So I was kind of happy with the fact that we would see Inquisitors. I was hoping, especially through reading both the Vader comics and through playing Fallen Order, that we would see the Inquisitor kind of HQ, especially considering in Fallen Order you do go through it and end up wrecking it, which is kind of fun in itself. In tools where you see Vader at the end. Spoiler alert, especially considering what happened 2 years ago on the channel for that particular part. No, I did not think we'd see it. And in fact, if you've got the still of them in the office, as it were, later on.
I do. Do you want me to bring that now? Should we just have an
bring it now?
chat?
Yeah. Because this scene right here, this room is one of the rooms you do play through in Fallen Order, and to see Fifth Brother there with his lightsaber on his back, literally the helmet, same as everything you get from Rebels, it's tying everything together nicely in points of this was from a game and this was from comics. That Disney have gone, cool, we like this, we're going to put this now into live action. It's properly Filoni tying all those little knots together, and this was chills for me in the case of both Fallen Order and for the Vader comics, because there's bits and pieces from that I never thought we'd get put into live action. So yeah, complete chills for me.
It's the one thing I think from all of the sort of Disney canon since they've been doing stuff that they went, right, we're cutting all this stuff and it's all now legends. But now what they're doing is they're just every now and then they kind of like, right, well, we're going to take this, and it might not be exactly how you've read it in these books, or how even some of the canon books.
Yes, the Kanan bit from Bad Batch is changed from the comics, but they are bringing it in. Dave, sorry, continue.
So they're kind of taking what they see as like, we really like this, and I really like that point, so we're going to bring that in. And say it might not be exactly as you remember it, but we're making this now. This is going forward. This is what it'll be, because we're bringing it into the live action role. And I really like how they're doing it, especially it takes me from a game. Like, in which universe would we ever thought that someone would have looked at a Star Wars series or movie and gone, remember that game that we played in the Atari or something, and brought that something like that, and you would never have thought they would go to this. Like, I thought if they were going to show anything with the Inquisitors, it might be a brand new thing, but to bring in something that's actually existing in a game is, I think so. I think it's an amazing thing.
I mean, we had the tease in Boba Fett with BD1, but this is different. This is another level. BD1 was a nice little kind of Easter egg for those of us who played the games. For everyone else, it's a cool little droid. You're not going to think too much about it. This is different. This is properly going. Disney go, yep, this is canon. We're bringing it in. Done. It is. They are not afraid to go through their catalog, and I love that.
I think as well with the Inquisitors, I mean, we'll get to Grand Inquisitor in a minute, but the fact it kickstarted as one character in Rebel Season 1.
Yep.
And here we are, 7 years since that aired, 8 years since that aired now, and it's like they've got a headquarters, they've got a Grand Inquisitor, they've got loads of other Inquisitors, they're in live action, they're in video games, they're in comics, they're in animated series. And you got to really think, I mean, again, I'll even say Rebel Season 1, I didn't watch till the end. I first saw the first few, I was like, it's not my cup of tea. And then as Clone Wars, it gets better and I remembered watching it just as season 1 finished.
And what I love with saying with Star Wars, of poetry, it rhymes. Don't forget that 6 years ago, we were at Star Wars Celebration. We watched the trailer for season 3 of Rebels, and then those first 2 episodes. And our first video, funny enough, being here on Cinema Savvy, was reviewing the episode, season 3 trailer, mid-season trailer for Rebels, which of course had the Inquisitors in. So, like poetry, it rhymes, and here we are back again, all these years later.
Exactly. A couple of comments I want to bring up. Sam,
Sure.
I've just finished Fallen Order again about a few days ago. Seeing the songs like Jaw the Face made me go, we're going to get to the music. We'll get to the music.
We'll get to the music.
Sam, wouldn't this technically be set after Fallen Order? Similar time, 10 years? They're both set 10 years after, aren't they?
No, this will be closer to episode 4 than Fallen Order. Fallen Order was set a lot closer to episode 3. 10 years by the time you get to the full Cal Kestis storyline, but from Kenobi's, because of course with Kenobi we have Luke is 19 by the time you get to
so it's 9 in this,
Fallen Order is literally just kind of happening at the same time. But I think Cal Kestis is kind of we'll see, because Cal Kestis could quite easily make an appearance. I don't think he will, but he could.
Quick comment, sorry. Apologies, there wasn't a Thor trailer. I was trolled by a friend of mine who just sent me a trailer with Thor on it. I think he knew I was live. Anyway, let's Thor talk. A quick one by Carl. I really hope Vader doesn't take his helmet off unless he's in the meditation chamber. I only want to see Hayes Anakin flashbacks. Me too.
Correct.
I think it's really cool that Anakin's gonna. I mean, I'm assuming Hayden's playing Vader in costume. Yeah. I know there was the whole debate in episode 3 that he was too small. Wasn't really an issue to me, if I'm being honest. But I hope that is the same here. If it is flashbacks, I'll take it. I think we're going to get flashbacks. There's been rumors. I mean, come on. I mean, de-aging rumors, like every Disney project ever now gets de-aging rumors, so it's really hard to take it seriously because they do seem to de-age everybody at some point. But let's go for a couple more. So we spoke about the Inquisitors. Let's bring up the Grand Inquisitor quickly. Really bad blur, mega quick shot in the thing. Gonna hold judgment personally on Grand Inquisitor till we actually see him in an episode, till we see some poster designs, because Rupert Friend is the actor I believe that's playing him.
Yeah.
And in real life, he actually has like the face features, which was very surprising to see him look like Dave Bautista here. So it's one where I'm not too bothered at the moment. I'm going to give this a bit more because we only get a few shots of him. Nothing close up, nothing focused. We just know or assume that maybe he's not even the Grand Inquisitor at this point. Maybe he is just an Inquisitor, almost the Grand. Probably is, but
no, I think that's
what
he's
do you
the Grand Inquisitor.
both think? I think he is, but I'm just.
Yeah. Well, I was working out timeline in my head. I think, if I remember correctly, he's the Grand Inquisitor by this point.
I just think it's like we look at him now, and of all the things that have come out about this trailer, this seems to be the thing that's kind of hit a lot of people of where they've gone, don't really like that design. But I mean, we're 10 years away from the Grand Inquisitor we see in Rebels.
Yep.
We're also seeing a live action character. It's not like Obi-Wan Kenobi's got a pointy beard. Like he hasn't. It's a very much a design choice when you go into the animated world, the way they look at a character and do a caricature of what we see. And I mean, yes, we've only had this species in episode 3 as well, when Obi-Wan lands on Utapau, and you see them, and maybe that would have been closer where people are expecting sort of the head shape to be. But you know what? I'm quite happy to take this Inquisitor as what we see in the live action version, and when we see him again in Rebels, he's moved on so much further. I mean, from what you can see there, he doesn't even look like he's got the yellow sort of Sith eyes, which he definitely has by the time we see him in Rebels as well. So I think it's just a stylistic choice, and I think I'm quite happy if that's how he's going. As long as he pulls off the job of being that character, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, and I'm just going to really quickly bring up his other shot in here that we get of him, the helicopter blades. And again, another blurred still. You know, they're all going to be blurred.
But you can see the head ridges a lot clearer. You see the head ridges a lot clearer. And also, so a comment from Carl saying that subtitles confirm that it's the Grand Inquisitor.
Exactly that. And this is, we've got Carl's comment and we've got Sam. I haven't seen much of Rebels, but I've seen a lot of hate to look and design. But he thinks it looks great. I think, again, when you get those studio HD photos, the character posters, whatever they want to do, it will look a lot better. We haven't even seen his teeth, which is a big thing. So I think it's very early days. I think, Dave, you're absolutely right as well. We will probably get more from him as it goes on. And whilst we stick to the Imperial theme, let's bring up the new Inquisitor that everybody is speaking about. Dave, you mentioned the hanging boots. Very Jojo Rabbit. This is the Inquisitor that has ordered the kill. Now, this is somebody that a lot of people have been speaking about before today. There were rumors, apologies, I've forgotten the actress's name. I'm just quickly bringing it back up now. Moses Ingram is playing the Inquisitor Reva, pronounced Reva, R-E-V-A. I hope it's pronounced that. But there were rumors a while ago, and I don't tend to do internet rumors, but everyone can do it if they want to. But they said this is a character, I think, that they've spoken about interviews, that there's an Inquisitor that is like on the verge of like over violent. They've not seen this before. This is like a new breed of evil in Star Wars. It's very easy to say that. The fact we're already seeing a hanging sequence. I know Book of Boba Fett was that the first ever hanging scene in Star Wars with what happened at the end with that one character. Pretty brutal for a guy with such a long neck, Don't know how that logistically happened still, but anyway, the big thing for this for me is the uncloned stare down here. Joel Edgerton is back, but what do we think of the Inquisitor position? Because if this is a new Inquisitor, if this is a character they're really bigging up, we get shots of her in, on the other planet. I'm going to assume she's the main antagonist for the series. What do we think they might be involved with? What are you looking forward to? I'll just go back to the from what we've seen of her so far. Look at that; she's got a lightsaber in hand as well.
I mean, obviously, I think all I can take from this scene is that she's been sent out by Vader. We know that that's why the Inquisitors are about. So they're looking for Force sensitive, or they're looking for actual Jedi. So there's obviously rumor of a Jedi on a planet, and I just think the fact that Owen is there, knowing full well that Obi-Wan dropped off a child to him 9 years ago, that he probably is still about in the area. So I think it is just more of like this, and I think it says it's a line of the thing like the trouble follows the Jedi, and like the path that the lead behind. And I just think it's just leading into that he's like, oh, okay, this is all about this, and I know something that maybe this girl really needs to know, and whether she can sense that in Owen as well. I think this is going to be very interesting if she can actually feel that from the people in the crowd, because she's going to be really Force sensitive, I'm guessing, like the others are, that she may be able to feel like, oh, this, all right, somebody knows more than, but maybe she can't pick out who knows what.
Yeah, the Inquisitorium, effectively, in when you read it in the Vader comics, Vader hates the Inquisitors. Vader vehemently hates them because he fears them. He fears that they are basically there to take his job. So why would the Emperor need him when he has all these dark servants underneath him? And the Emperor likes to play them off against each other because that's the Emperor for you. He likes to maintain his position of power. The Inquisitors themselves are violent and unhinged when it comes to their methods because they're not trained fully as Sith, because that's too dangerous for the Emperor and for Vader, because then they would take their place. So they don't get trained fully. What you do get, though, is people who are extremely powerful in the Force who are just not honed. So you do get some who are more tactful, like Seventh Sister in Rebels, who are more than willing to kind of play the long game and actually be like, I will torture you for as long as I can to get the information I need, and I'll take my time doing it. Whereas this looks a lot more along the lines of either you give me the answer I need or you die. That is it. And I'm looking forward to seeing the direction this goes.
And this is it. Even, I mean, Joel Edgerton's been in a lot. I mean, if you really go back to 2002, I know that I forgot that she plays Aunt Beru. I know she's like a singer in Australia, but Joel Edgerton has had a massive career. I think he's even directing, but seeing him back, to me, it was one of those things when he got announced, it was like, I think he'd always joke saying he'd be up for it. He got like a nod in episode 3, didn't he? Like, he was in the last shot of the film. And episode 2 didn't go super, but it's like, if we get to see him get not a bit of a character arc, but we know by the time episode 4 rolls around, Obi-Wan and the Joel, or not Joel, Obi-Wan and Unclone don't get on.
No.
Something happens. There is something there between them. And I'm not going to clutch at straws. What I'm really excited by is, what is the relationship between him and Kenobi right now? Or is there a working relationship until the events of the film? Is this going to be, not film, sorry, series? That's really weird to say. We're getting serious on film. Is this going to be something mega where he trusts Obi-Wan until this? Does he fear for the first time that he might get caught?
It might be that, and also, by the time you get to episode 4, don't forget that Uncle Owen turns around to Luke and goes, oh, he's dead. Maybe him leading them because there's a way is him basically going to making Uncle Owen think he's dead so that he has nothing to betray.
or even if I thought if Owen was in this scene and it's around the hanging scene as well, that maybe Obi-Wan is nearby as well and he's expecting him to step in and he doesn't, and he lets that citizen or whoever that is end up like that without stepping in, that maybe it starts to sort of miss his judgment, like everyone did of the Jedi towards the end. They start to see, like, hang on, you would have really hoped you would have stepped in and done something, but you let this happen. I just think that maybe clouds his. Might be something that happens. I don't know. I'm speculating so much.
Yeah, which is why I love the voiceover when it comes to the Grand Inquisitor. The whole thing of just like the way of the Jedi will bring them out. We will basically saying we will cause pain and suffering because the Jedi will have to step in at some point. Their compassion is their downfall. It's so cool. I'm just so excited for this.
I think this is the bit that's going to be mega. I've just got this feeling where it's going to be something big that. And also, look at his beard. It's slowly going into the young clone from the originals. You know, he's got the little bit of grey coming at the sides. He's still almost. He's not there. But it's one of them, like with young clone. He's because I never really liked him much in the original film. I'll be honest. I've always kind of said that. You know, as a kid, you didn't really care about him. It's just this bloke that won't Luke go on adventures. And I get why. But if this can give his character a great sense of purpose, there's an amazing. I think it's 4 Center podcast that one of the hosts is Scrimmage tried this amazing quote many years ago. And he said, every time a new Star Wars film comes out, he goes, the day before it comes out, he has to take a moment to think what he watches the following day will change his perception on every single piece of Star Wars content he's ever seen. And those are words I've never forgotten because it's absolutely true. And it doesn't matter how much you like something, how much you dislike something, your entire perception changes. Here's an example. Well, next time you watch episode 4, right? And we get the garbage compact scene.
Yep.
We now know there's an origin for the thing that was in Book of Boba Fett. It's little things like that, but this feels something big.
Boba Fett for me was that big one. So a couple of years ago, before we finished up Ones of the Force, I really was not excited for Boba Fett. I didn't understand the hype behind the character. I didn't understand why he was so loved. It was like he's cool, but he kind of does nothing. After watching a few episodes of I saw that. It is on point for sure. But I messaged you guys literally after a couple of episodes ago. I'm eating all of the humble pie about Boba Fett. Same. I now get it, and that my perception was changed forever by watching that. Same
here, and we just got those bits of character development, the stuff you might not have needed, but I think worked for him primarily. Just a quick comment by Carl: seeing Uncle Owen trying to protect Luke to give him a normal life. But he always knew the one day Obi-Wan would show up and he's during that day. I love that. That's a great analogy. I've never seen that before. I really like that. And this is it. It's going to raise so much questions. And I do feel when the show does end, I will probably watch episode 4 the same day the last episode of the show ends because it just feels right. Really want to quickly bring up the comment. I mentioned the Inquisitor, the Hong Kong planet. I have the name of the planet now. We've got another Inquisitor really quickly jumping through. And we've got Kenobi there lurking in the shadows with his hoods. This is the name of the planet. I'm going to call it Daiyu, Daiyu. And they say, quotation, it has a Hong Kong feel to it. It's got a graffiti-ridden nightlife and is kind of edgy. It's got a different lane and a different feeling.
It's Star Wars Madripoor is what it is.
Sounds like Underground Coruscant again. It
does. Yeah. What I love about this particular shot, though, with Obi-Wan is the fact that the Jedi were known for their Jedi robes. After episode 3, they know what things to look for. They're wearing Jedi bloody robes. They did go Inquisitor Training 101. Here's what Jedi used to wear. If you spot one, this is what you should do. But apparently, no one knows this.
And another one, we've got to bring this up. This is a character I believe we all know.
Brother. Yeah.
Fifth brother. He's played by, oh my God, Han from Fast and Furious. Apologies, I've forgotten his name. He was doing an interview recently, and he goes, "Yeah, I got to hold lightsabers for my role," and everyone's like, "Brilliant! Thanks, Ash Crossan, for getting that info from him." It was unbelievable the reaction because he didn't clock he'd just given it away, and he got this amazing reaction from her. But again, this Hong Kong nightlife stuff, it looks really. Someone's probably on Google translating the Aurebesh as we speak to try and see.
Oh, definitely.
And I completely understand why. But let's
so it kind of reminds me of that original Star Wars show we were supposed to get. Like, you've seen that kind of few-minute clip. It kind of has that vibe to it, but this is what you were going to have. It didn't look very good. It was just terrible. This is what you actually are getting. You're welcome. And that's that technology they've got for Mando. Looking so far back in the screen, that's technically not there, but it just feels so much more real. And they've even from Mando season 1, the technology has come on leaps and bounds since then. And it's just incredible what they're doing.
I mean, the new Batman film, Greg Fraser, we know, worked on a few Mandalorian episodes, took the tech to Warner Brothers. ILM got the credit as well. And that's why I've been using films like Batman. I'm not going to obviously say anything about the film. There's a great spoiler discussion. Dave jumped on that with me for that one, and Eamon. But we're seeing the Mando tech now in major blockbusters. And I think that I said this years ago, probably on our channel back then. This is the technology that's going to change the future of filmmaking. This is going to make the not impossible things possible. If you're on a tight budget and you can't get a crew of 100 people on location in, like, I don't know, the desert or, you know, in Hong Kong or something, you're going to be able to use technology. And when it's used sparingly and correctly, I'm all for it. And I love this. Quick comment by Carl, very Attack of the Clones. And I really want to quickly bring this one up as well. What looks like a new droid. Very intriguing design. I think it pulls up a gun in the shot that follows after. Does anyone have anything to say on this? I'm more than happy to move on unless someone can translate the Arabic.
I can't translate off the actually, how's it? Can I?
That's where Phil was like, it's like the Batman of the Riddler. Like, we've got this code. Phil's going to crack the case for us. Again, it's just, you know, it's nice to see something new.
Yeah, no, that's one D.
And that's what I'm saying. Although it's something familiar, although it's a time period, you know, those 19 years we're very familiar with, it's still nice to get some new stuff in there. Like even K2, when we first got in Rogue One, I was like, here's a new droid. And now we get to see it in Book of Boba Fett murdering all the Mandalorians. And it's like, show us these new things because the designs look amazing. And I've got a photo here which is so dark I can't see. 2 escape pods. I'm not even going to bother speculating. We're not one of those channels. That's ridiculous.
But here we have says Ned, N-E-D.
maybe that's the comedy relief. I mean, we had Matt Berry in Book of Boba Fett, so who knows who we got for this?
Yeah.
But we have the the new Inquisitor with a silhouetted character with a gun in a street.
Very
Do you think Kenobi might be using a gun for a few episodes?
Very much. I do not think we'll see him ignite his lightsaber till very late on.
Maybe I'm talking like 1 or 2 scenes maximum. If they build this up, if they make his lightsaber moment this humongous moment, maybe the first time he turned on in years. I don't mind having close-ups of the handle and everything for certain episodes, but if they're going to delay the reveal because we have here,
as long as we get by the time he finally ignites it and throws away the blaster, going so uncivilized, I will be happy.
Look at you and your nostalgia.
I like nostalgia to a point. You know, balance, and that one has to be done. Exactly, so it has to be done.
Can I reach for the worst take of the day? I'm going to assume this is Josh Sadfi by the back of his head. That makes me sound like a psychopath. I may be proven wrong. This could be a random extra. But if that is one of the 2 Sadfi brothers that we know is cast in this, George takes win. It's probably someone getting massacred, which I'm fine with as well. But yeah, it's not much to say on this. Again, the Inquisitor, it's nice to see a lightsaber in it. Look at that person absolutely shitting it. They're like centimeters away from death behind him. Do you know if anyone's got anything to say on this? I'm happy to move on. So I said,
just her sliding into the screen there and with the lightsaber is very Fallen Order-esque in terms of some of how Second Sister fights you. It's kind of that style. So I like it. It gets that nod to Fallen Order, but it's very, very subtle. Apart from that, nothing to add. It's just cool.
Yeah, let's wrap up the photos. So we spoke very briefly about the music between us, but I don't know if anyone else wants to chat some more because I don't know if it's been confirmed who's doing the full score. I might be wrong.
It has been confirmed.
It had been.
Yeah, it has been.
Oh, has it? Okay.
Yeah.
What do we think? Without speculating too hard, okay, Dave, I know we spoke earlier that you know we know we're getting the in the trailer we've had Duel of the Fates, which probably one of the best what do they call it? The term for when a music note pops up. Needle drop, isn't it?
Drop. Needle drop, yeah.
That's it. That's not going to get topped this year. Like I did not. That used to be my alarm clock for years of my life, and it's gone back to Order 66 now. In case anyone is actually curious what my alarm clock is, but just hearing that in 2022 on a new Star Wars footage on Obi-Wan Kenobi, it's so fitting, and I think that's the moment I lost my mind. I know that Sam commented earlier, but just hearing that, and I don't think they would take and this one might sound really silly, but I don't think they would play that for the sake of it. Has it ever been just used for the sake of it since episode 1? They would very, very sparingly use it. I know episode 3 had it in the Yoda Emperor sequence, but I don't think it's a song that Star Wars diverts to 24/7. You know, the Force theme, I understand why it's used so much. It is the Force theme.
So it hasn't been confirmed. I thought it was reading something else. So sorry about that.
That's fine. You don't apologize.
But no, Duel of the Fates has been very, very rarely used. I think you get a little bit in Rebels when you have Maul and Obi-Wan, but it's like a tiny, tiny amount and slowed down.
Do we think we could get a new take on it? I don't want us to. Just if I'm being honest, an Inquisitor shouldn't have Duel of the Fates, but
no.
Battle of the Heroes.
I'm just wondering if that's what John Williams might use his theme around. Like if he's going to bring it in, that with also the Battle of Heroes. I think the Battle of Heroes is something we'll hear quite a lot throughout the show, especially when we're going to get down to if we do get this rumored Kenobi Vader meetup. I think we'll definitely get that. Maybe still that slowed down version we've already heard, that we'll get that playing throughout because it's synonymous with the last meeting. To then take it to this as well, I think would be definitely a theme that I want to go through. The drop of Duel of Fates was incredible. It was the moment that in the trailer, like, all right, that's nice. I like the music, but as soon as that came on, that beat, that was like we're there.
Yeah,
and
this is Star Wars,
yeah.
Really quick comment by Sam. Duel of Fates is the main theme of the prequel era for me. And Filoni's explanation of the fight in episode 1 and it's important makes the song feel very much more powerful to me. Absolutely. I mean, the fact that when you nail it down to, I loved Filoni's explanation. I know that a lot of people had took ideas thinking that in the past, but to get it from, the apprentice to George Lucas, the black and white explanation for the whole world to see, those that never thought of it, those that might have thought of it. When you had that drill down, was it the Gallery season 1, wasn't it? And you can even decipher Duel of the Fates. It is the fate of this one individual character, and it is the duel to see what's going to happen to it. And I don't think it's unwise to think this was well known back in the day. I'm sure Lucas would have had a hand in telling this to John Williams. This is how I see this song being. This is the significance of this song, and it's those kind of things that make it really exciting. But as you say, Battle of the Heroes, I think is so underrated as a prequel song, but it's used so well in episode 3. I still think to this day, maybe controversially, I do believe episode 3 has the best Star Wars soundtrack from track 1 to final track. Very unfair to compare it to episode 4 because episode 4 is just trailblazing of cinema and the whole world that it inspired after. Carl?
I'd have to agree with you though, because the Temple March and Battle of the Heroes are two of my favorite Star Wars pieces of music.
How would we want to see this in the cinema? I would.
Oh,
as long as it's at 8 a.m. on the dot, so it's not spoilt for me. Elsewhere.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you this, that one episode I missed of Book of Boba Fett, I was in my kitchen watching it on a laptop at 8 o'clock till 8:20. Got picked up to go on a work visit. Had to download my Disney Plus copy on the way down. Watched it on a service station for 10 minutes when my colleague went out. And then I had to finish off on a train into London like 4 hours later. And I spent the entire time like, what's going to happen? Is Luke going to stay in it longer? All this. And that was just a man. And then Cad Bane turned up. But yes, Sam, absolutely. All 6 parts back to back. Now, here's my question.
Oh, that would be incredible. Give me that in a day of the cinema. Hell yeah.
Everyone wants it. We can try and make it happen. So, Mandalorian season 1 was obviously in England like 4 months after the rest of the world saw it, which was ridiculous. They played the first 2 episodes at a Cineworld Unlimited event, which I didn't go to because, like everyone else, I obviously flew to America, watched it perfectly legally, and flew home, as we kept doing between us. Those flight bills racked up.
They did rack up indeed.
And one of my friends went. I think one of my friends went. I remember absolutely loved it. And when you got to season 2 of The Mandalorian, do you remember in chapter 9 when the IMAX aspect ratio went up with the worm? And I was like, should this have been at the cinema? Like, was there a plan this to be at the cinema? And here we are with Kenobi. They probably wouldn't. And if they did release the cinema, they'll be like, we'll show it at 7 at night. But the one thing I'll say is that Star Wars Celebration this year, I believe, is the 2 days after episode 1 of the show airs. And this is why I'm more chill. Like I gave my ticket back. Like I couldn't go when they switched it to May, but there's a very conscious reason for them to move it from August to May. I don't think it's just a convention center, but I don't feel I'm missing out because the show's airing before. And I don't think they're going to go to Celebration, a panel of thousands of people say, here's the first 3 episodes. Comment by Carl, he did go to that. The Mando looked amazing on the big screen. It was only 1 episode though. There we go. I wasn't imagining it. Someone did go. And again, if you had that IMAX screen, Kenobi's going to be something where I feel it's going to be like No Way Home, but on TV.
Don't do that. Don't give me hope. No.
But
IMAX for Kenobi would be incredible.
If there is a final duel though, I don't need it to be shot on IMAX cameras, but if there is a final duel, if there is that soundtrack or any of these soundtracks being used, it is going to be one of the greatest cinematic moments. And it's a shame it's on Disney Plus because we can't meet up for it. Unless we did, that's something we'll have to discuss another time. If the show's good, also adding that part in too. But yeah, that's a bit of the music. What oh god, I feel like I had something else to say except the music. Oh yes, we haven't spoke about a key ingredient, Darth Vader breathing. I know that's not really a dig deep and ask what it means. Are you surprised we didn't see him in this trailer? That's my question.
Oh, not at all. I don't think you'll see him at all. I don't think you'll see him in the second trailer. I don't think you'll see him until he's here. And I don't want to. I don't want any context of Vader. I want to be completely surprised at how they do it.
I think if we're going to get him, it'll be like end of episode 5 or episode 6.
Yep.
It feels weird saying episodes about TV when it's Star Wars. I guess that's why they call them chapter. It'll be chapter 5 and chapter 6. Yeah. But here's my bet: maybe that round table of the not the Invincibles, that's football. The Inquisitors. Maybe at the little dining room session, you might get like Vader for a couple of seconds. Like, would that happen in Rebel season 1? Didn't it? Where like Vader was in it at the opening intro or something. But
but that you had on the Holocron. So you might just literally get a holo for Vader for a couple of scenes. I'd be okay with that, and then him actually being there.
And I think
I don't want to hear it until you hear that breathing. That will just kick in and just.
And I think Grand Inquisitor will function as what Darth Vader might have functioned as. He's going to be the one the Inquisitors are reporting to, which is his role. Yeah. But I think that makes it easier to include Vader as a necessity more so than an accessory. And that's something I'm really forward to.
Yeah, it's a season 1 of Rebels. The Inquisitors brought in for that particular role, and then Vader comes in afterwards because the Grand Inquisitors failed.
And you can't have Vader. He can't be the big bad. Like Filoni said about Rebels again, like you can't have Vader being the big bad getting defeated every week. That's not how Vader needs to be. He needs to be the strong arm of this. So we will definitely see him, but he will be, like you say, he might be on a hologram for a little bit when we see him, and until we see him and Kenobi in a room together, which towards will be the back end of the season. That's when we'll see him in full armor, and I don't think we'll see much else of him, which I think is the best way to do it.
First looks back him, he appeared in 5 episodes, then the full appearance at the end. I think Sam's on something there.
Agreed.
And here's a big one. They seem to have enough villains to get the story moving. I'm with you on this. We've got Inquisitors we know. Sorry if you've not seen Rebels, but we are doing spoilers. We've got Inquisitors we know survive up until Rebels. We've got Inquisitors we've never seen before who is safe to assume they might not survive the events of this show. Or maybe they do, and they'll get another show down the line. Who knows? Maybe we'll get The Office one day, but it's just loads of Inquisitors. And, we're going to get, obviously, Vader, there's no way. If they're going to have a duel, I don't want anyone to win. I want another draw. Yeah. I want it to be this dramatic revelation that Darth Vader and Obi-Wan knows who Darth Vader is. He knows that Anakin survived. Maybe he'll sense his presence. Maybe he knows, but something concrete. I don't want the slashed eye. Rebels perfected that. I don't think they can do that for Anakin. I think that would look silly in live action if you had his eye through the helmet. But if there's a way to do it, Carl, the only reason Darth Vader to move his helmet would undermine the line from Luke, I can't move your helmet, you'll die. I like that as well. That's very well said.
Unless he's in the meditation chamber. That's the one place you can.
Yeah,
it's episode 5.
Imagine like Obi-Wan visiting him.
I might steal that moment from Empire too much. For the movie helmet again. Like it's sort of a shock thing in Empire when it comes off or when it comes down. Sorry, so I don't think they'll do that either. I think literally we'll only see him when he is about to meet Obi-Wan again.
And Sam, are we going to get Palpatine cameo? Ooh,
Mr.
McDermott does like his cameos. Didn't he joke about playing him again recently? I swear he always did.
He did, yeah.
But mate,
he's in Exegol, just doing some experiments with clones.
Yep.
Maybe we'll get to Exegol. Maybe we'll get some more. They are delving into other stuff. And what I will say, as much as I dislike 9, I really enjoyed Exegol as a concept and as a planet and as a design. It's one of its many strengths. I said many strengths.
At some point, they have to start linking to it. Otherwise, it's getting further and further away from what people's thoughts are.
You might. I think
the kind of even just to mention, just to link it into something that's happening in what people are saying. I think it's important if they want to keep those as the way they finish their saga.
Yeah, in the Palpatine cameo, it might actually even just be to the Inquisitors, not to Vader, because in the current run, spoiler alert for anyone who's reading the current run of Star Wars and Vader especially, there's an Inquisitor in it who has failed to wipe out Vader, and her instructions were to kill him. So it's kind of, you might get that playoff, but we'll see. We'll see.
And another one from Carl. At what point does Obi-Wan finally realize Vader's Anakin? This is my thoughts as well. To me, this is the crux of this series. Yes, we're going to get a story of Obi-Wan. Yes, he's going to come back to Tatooine at the end of it. He might kill some Inquisitors on the way. The big, to me, revelation that is, the overarching impact upon the Skywalker saga, all that kind of stuff, is Obi-Wan Kenobi needs to know that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, and I don't think he would know that immediately. Immediately is the key, and this is Carl's question. At what point?
He literally
sorry, the name, but I mean the armor. Yeah. If he sees the armor,
sure,
that's what I meant. Sorry, or does he even know he's alive still? So, no, ignore that last bit from me. But I think that's a very fair question to make, because if Vader just rocked up in his suit and there's nothing, it's like, oh, Anakin, you're alive. But if you can get this amazing dramatic reveal of some kind of cliffhanger or a duel or something, he might think Vader's another Inquisitor. There's so many different things you could look at with this, and I do hope, sort of maybe going to final thoughts as a thing. This series, it's very easy to be pleased by it, and I'm very much on that way. But if they can really bring in some good storytelling, and you got to think, we haven't even spoke about Deborah Chow yet. She made the best episodes of season 1 of The Mandalorian with Taika. She's now getting an entire show. Every other show has, certain different directors for different episodes, a similar showrunner. I know that there's suddenly a weird Jon Favreau backlash, which I really dislike. I don't get that. I'm glad he's not writing this, more out of a creative standpoint, that Favreau and Filoni's not world, but they are doing the post episode 6 storylines. It would be weird for them to be involved on Cassian, to be involved on Kenobi. But it's a bit weird for people to be, Jon Favreau, that's very, very short-sighted, because these are the same people that are buying Baby Yoda merch and putting them on their shelves and stuff. So, my final thoughts for this trailer, really quickly. I'm going to bring any other comments that come in, we will bring them up. I think this trailer delivered. Again, I thought we'd get this, really, really basic teaser, just him on a desert, walking on a desert, nothing for 2 minutes, show his face in, but we got a lot more than that. The hype is still here. It remains here. But thanks to some use of some certain music and seeing some new environments, I've got a lot more intrigue on what the story is and what it might be, and ultimately to see Ewan back after 17 years and don the robes for the final time.
It's exactly that. I mean, I couldn't get any more hype than I was. We got way, like you say, I got way more out of this trailer than I was expecting. As I say, I think we'll get one more trailer, which will show us probably more of the first episode, which will be able to put together pretty much before we see the first one. But yeah, I just can't wait to get to May 25th to see the first episode, to be back in that world, to have Ewan back as Obi-Wan has been a dream for a long time, and it's coming to fruition. And it's a perfect world right now. Not everywhere, obviously. But it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan.
That it is. And echoing both your thoughts there, I did not think we'd get this much. I was surprised, but pleasantly surprised. I was surprised to be sure, but a welcome one, to get as much as we had in that trailer, and to add the music, to add every little nuance here and then, and to have my mind immediately go in to look at all the Inquisitors, Easter eggs, all the rest of it. Just it felt so good. And I don't think we'll see anything until May the 4th. That'll be the second trailer, which will be again, a few extra scenes from maybe episode 2, along with a lot of stuff for episode 1. But it's good to be back talking Star Wars. It was good to kind of watch this and excited, properly excited.
Absolutely. Just a few quick comments. Sam, Death Star stalled due to Emperor's request. It's not found a non-overt saying this could work potentially exactly that. I know that there's in-canon reasons for why, but any throwaway, you could mention something else that is they're more than capable to do so. We've got Matt, great show, guys. Appreciate that. Carl, good to see you again. Phil, Lulu, fantastic chat. Thank you, fellas. Listen, we've had an amazing chat, and I'm not going to get too personal and deep, but us three back on a video means quite a bit to me. Very last minute as well. We didn't know this trailer was coming, so I assumed it could. There were tidbits online, but I didn't think we'd get the three of us on stage. But it has been in the pipeline for a while, and I don't mind saying this on the stream for you guys watching at home still. As I said, this show comes out on May the 25th. There is a massive video already planned for May the 4th on this channel that I swear I messaged you both in January about it. And that's going to be one of the biggest Star Wars videos this channel has ever done. And I'm just going to leave that as the final hint. But then there's a few weeks to fill. We've been doing tier lists. We've been doing discussions. We've been doing so many other things on this channel. Even Reboots from Hell can finally come back at last. And that's the show where we reboot a trilogy or a show that no one wants to ever see rebooted, and we have to recast it. There are so many ideas for Star Wars things, and just on a side piece, if I can get you two back for any of these videos, I've already said there's going to be some pre-Kenobi. During Kenobi, there's going to be weekly spoiler discussions as they were on all the other Star Wars videos we've done on the night of them airing. I'm not going to tell you details now, but there will be times nearer the time. But this is March the 9th, end of April, start of May. We'll have a lot more updates. There's going to be some Star Wars stuff in the pipeline. Those I don't fully know, but I'm telling you right now, May the 4th is going to be the biggest Star Wars video on this channel that there has been to date. Maybe I'm bigging up too much, but trust me, you will not be disappointed. And I'm going to thank both of you again for coming on and reuniting it.
Pleasure.
Carl, the circle is now complete. This cycle... I hope reunites a few more times. And everybody at home, it's been amazing. Sorry to go to the technical side of things, but please do hit that subscribe button. It's really cheaply thrown in on a sentimental piece. But more Star Wars stuff on the way. Hit the like button, do comment. The comments in the chats make these. We love getting the comments on the live streams. Hopefully they'll be a little bit earlier, if I'm going to be honest, on the next batch of live reviews. And if you are familiar with our channel, what we do, we aren't just a Star Wars channel. We have a lovely Star Wars Cinema Savvy logo though, but we do a lot of film reviews, other stuff, Oscar videos coming out everywhere. We've delayed Drive My Car again because like Drive to Survive last week, this week Kenobi's come and ruin that review. Listen, I'm not going to complain. I got to talk about Star Wars with you guys again. And our social medias as well. Twitter at cinema_savvy, Facebook and letterboxd.com/cinema savvy. Links in that description below. Everybody, we're on the final hurdle to seeing Ewan McGregor's Kenobi back. And it's going to be amazing to see what follows. So thank you all for watching. Thank you to you both for joining me tonight. And we'll be sure to see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.
May I do the old outro?
You can. Go on. Go for it.
We've watched the Force. May the Force always be with you. Good night.